I really struggled in college and was able to, thankfully, get past that. But then there was a couple other times where I really struggled in life. One was when I read Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. They say that the divinity of Jesus was made up at the Council of Nicaea. Not true. We get our belief in the divinity of Jesus from the New Testament. Even general historians have said that's just bad history, Dan Brown. But regardless, it shook me. And the second time was when I was reading Richard Dawkins' God Delusion, probably the most popular atheistic book that has led many, many people out of Christianity or out of religion altogether. And so I have had my moments of like, okay, Alicia, what do I do with this? And I would say this, I think there's three things we can do. We can panic and freak out because now God's angry with us. We can just say, you know what, I'm just going to walk away. I'm done with Christianity, walk away. Or we take the third option, we say, okay, chances are Dan Brown and Richard Dawkins are not saying anything new. Let me see what I can actually find out. And so if you're going to read a book like that, don't just read it and say, I'm going to take it. If you are put in a position where you're doubting or questioning because of what's said, then do the work. And what you find out most of the time is these people are not actually citing Christianity correctly.
You know what we're about to do? We're about to get real. We're about to have conversations that Christians have behind closed doors. The scary ones, the ones that make you feel uncomfortable, that's where we're going. Why? Because we're family. Ustedes son mi familia.
So this is the Brian and Janelle podcast. She's Janelle and I'm Brian. If you don't want to miss anything, all you have to do is just hit that subscribe button to get a notification whenever we drop a new episode. This is the Brian and Janelle podcast. Alicia Wood is a speaker with Ravi Zacharias International Ministries.
Always happy to hang with you guys. I always enjoy talking to you.
I just love that you're out there defending the faith, yes, but Ravi Zacharias Ministries, one of the things we love about you guys so much is that you care about people. And you're not trying to win a debate. You love Jesus and you love people, and that's what we're all about around here.
We're getting ready to speak to some young people about some pretty serious issues, kind of preparing them for college, what's coming up. So
yeah, so necessary, and I love the way it's almost like a partnership with a parent, because there comes a point where you feel unequipped to answer some of the questions that they're going to have in that journey. The one we're going to talk about today, doubting Christianity, I love it because with social media and the internet, I know a lot of Christians are in this area. So my first question to you is, can you be a Christian and be totally saved and feel this? Like be in a position where you have moments where you're doubting Christianity? Or is this something for unbelievers?
I would say I think doubt is actually much more part of a normal Christian life than many people realize. I think one of the travesties of doubt is when we get to those moments of doubt or we're questioning and we're like, I don't know if this is right, I don't know if this is true. We somehow feel like we're the only Christian on the planet outside of poor doubting Thomas, who has ever doubted before.
Yeah.
Poor Thomas, yeah.
Yeah, poor Thomas, that God is angry with us and he's ashamed at us and he's looking, scuffing his nose at us or something. And so, yeah, I think you can be a Christian and doubt. I mean, I think that's a normal part of Christianity is you get to these points in your life where you're like, do I really love? And why do I love? And is that being the object of my love really there? I think that's very normal.
Should we feel guilty, though, Alicia? Because so many people will have that moment where they go, boy, I wonder if he did rise from the dead. And they go, oh, no, God's mad at me. I'm so sorry.
Or does it mean I'm not saved?
I would say no. I don't think it means that you're not saved. I think there's a sense in which we go through these cycles. It's kind of like we have these cycles where we feel like we're really close to God, and there's times we feel like we're not really close to God. There's times when we feel like we are 100% sold on Christianity. Other times somebody says something and we just don't know what to do with it. So I don't think that we need to carry guilt. I think that's one of the worst things we can do is to kind of feel like somehow I'm a failure, as if God never saw that somebody could doubt or had no question. I think this is why Jesus did so many miracles. I mean, he says, believe in me, if not for the evidence of the miracles themselves, right? He wanted to give people at that time and our time something concrete to believe in. And so, because doubting will arise. And so, no, I don't think we need to say, oh my goodness, I said God's turned his back on me, he hates me, I'm not a Christian. I think it's all about what we do with the doubt. Do we let it sit there and fester and hate ourselves? Or do we say, maybe there's answers out there?
And see, oftentimes I think people want to talk about their doubts as they surface, but they're afraid to bring them up. So let's just say you're going to coach now those who are volunteers in Sunday school or youth ministry, and a kid raises a doubt. How do we respond? Do we go, I mean, what do we do?
No, I actually relate to that. I grew up in a Christian home, went to Sunday school and church on Sundays and, during the week and Sunday night. I mean, I did all that. And then I got to my Christian college, and in my Christian Bible class is when I had my moment of doubting. And I felt like I couldn't tell anybody. I mean, I was the one that people came to for prayer. And then when they talked about things, like I would be the one there to help them through things. Who was I going to tell? And so I think whenever somebody is doubting, you always want to, or even if they're not, but they ask a challenging question, you always want to make sure that you are a safe place for them to ask questions too. And here's the thing that we have to realize is the New Testament has been around for 2,000 years, the Old Testament even longer. Do we really think, number one, that Christians haven't been asking questions or doubting during all this time? But number two, that the civic question you have has never been thought of by anybody on the face of the planet for all those years? Mm-hmm. Of course not. Most people, when they ask the question, they think, oh, this is just like, I'm the only one who's wrestling or struggling with this, or I'm the only one who's the bad Christian. But there's plenty of people out there who have asked these questions and who have looked for answers. And I think that's the way that we need to approach it. So if you're a youth leader or a pastor or somebody, and somebody asks a question, actually relish that opportunity that they were willing to be vulnerable with you. And this is your opportunity to help them feel stronger in their faith. And so I think anytime somebody is honest with me, especially when I do these conferences, we get into these smaller group settings, and then this is when the arms go up and they're questioning this and they're not sure about this. Great. Let's talk about it. There's answers. That's the thing the doubter needs to know, is there are answers. It's okay to ask questions. There are answers out there.
Alicia, so let's say you're in church, you're the Sunday school teacher, or you're the youth group volunteer, and a kid comes to you, expresses doubt. Some people would say, oh, got to be ready to give an answer, so I better give the apologetic answer right now. How do you respond in a moment? Do you use emotion, intelligence, both?
If somebody was coming to me with doubting, I would, first of all, be excited. I mean, because for me, I'm like, great. Like, I'm so happy you were honest with me. I'm so happy you were open with me. Let's sit down and talk about this. And honestly, the first thing I would do is just ask them questions so I can get a better grasp of where they are. So tell me, what is your question, or what is it that's leading you to struggle, or what did somebody say, or what did you read? I mean, what I'm finding today is people are reading a random article on Google or watching some YouTube video put on by some person in their parents' basement, and they're just like, I don't believe in Christianity anymore. And it's like, well, wait a minute. How do you know that Google website is accurate? Mm-hmm. How do you know that YouTube clip is accurate? So oftentimes that's why I like to kind of get a feel for, where is somebody at? What's wrong? What are the questions? And then we talk about it. If I don't know the answer, then I say, well, let's just kind of look it up. Let's see what we can discover together. And if I do know the answer, I can just kind of help talk with them through it. So for me, I think it's really important when somebody is expressing a doubt that we don't just say, what's your question, is hurl off some answer. I think there's a lot of times deeper things there. It could be emotional. Many times people feel doubt. They feel like let down by, like they let God down, or that God's let them down because he hasn't helped them get over the doubt yet. And so sometimes there's hurt in there and there's different things. So I would just spend time talking with them, let them share with where they're at. And then you'll have a better direction of where to go after that. I like I said, I really struggled in college and was able to kind of, thankfully, get past that. But then there was a couple other times where I really struggled in life. One was when the first time I read the Da Vinci Code by Dan Brown. And I was reading that, they say that the divinity of Jesus was made up at the Council of Nicaea. Not true. The entire New Testament was written before that, and we get our belief in the divinity of Jesus from the New Testament. So that's not true. I mean, just even general historians have said that's just bad history, Dan Brown, not even religious historians. But regardless, it shook me. I didn't know that. I was like, oh my goodness, what do I do with this? And the second time was when I was reading parts of the God Delusion, Richard Dawkins' God Delusion, probably the most popular atheistic book that has led many, many people out of Christianity or out of religion altogether. And so I have had my moments of like, okay, Alicia, what do I do with this? And I would say this, I think there's 3 things we can do. We can panic and freak out because now God's angry with us. He heard our thoughts. He saw that we're doubting and he's angry. We can take on that lie, which I don't think is true. We can just say, you know what? I'm just going to walk away. Forget it. These things this person's saying are rocking my world. I'm done with Christianity, walk away, which many people do. Or we take the third option. We say, okay, chances are Dan Brown and Richard Dawkins are not saying anything new. There's been years of atheism and many, many books and philosophers that have written things. Let me see what I can actually find out. Let me see if I can show this to be true. And so if you're going to read a book like that, I would say be prepared that you might have some things shaken. Yeah. I don't think that's disastrous, but I do think it can be shocking and somewhat devastating for some people who have never had their faith shaken.
Yeah.
But if you're going to read it, you've got to make sure that you will look for answers when you are put in a position where you don't know what to say to that or you don't know if that's true. And you've got to do the work. Don't just read it and say, I'm going to take it. If you are put in a position where you're doubting or questioning because of what's said, then do the work. And what you find out most of the time is these people are not actually citing Christianity correctly, or they're twisting history, or what they're saying about Christianity is true. So many times we read the God Delusion, I'm like, I would bet money Richard Dawkins has not read the Bible from cover to cover. He's read particular passages or certain sections, and he's made conclusions off of that. And so that's what I find a lot is people actually, when I read stuff, I'm like, that's not what the text says. But that's because I went back and read the text. Right. So that's what I would say is just be prepared to do the extra work.
Right.
Unfortunately, our time is running short here with Alicia Wood, again, speaker with Ravi Zacharias International Ministries. So many reasons we love them, but it's clear in your answers here, Alicia, too, that you all value people as much as you value the gospel. And that's what sets you apart, I think, from other apologetics organizations that value the gospel and winning. So if folks want to send their kids, I know you have that wonderful program for recent high school grads, since we're right up against that time right now. And you all have resources. How can folks learn more about what you've got?
Well, I would go to our website, rzim.org, and you can look up training and youth events, and you'll see other events that we are doing here in Atlanta and also globally. So you can always check it out. And you know, if you have any questions or you're doubting, take a look at what the events are that we have, and chances are you'll be in a room with other people who have similar questions too.
And we've spent time with a lot of the team at RZIM, and I got to tell you, they're the real deal. I'd really encourage you to go check out the stuff at rzim.org. Alicia, say hi to Abdu and Sam and Ravi and the whole team for us, okay?
Appreciate it. And to all the doubters out there, don't you worry. There are answers. Don't give up.
Hey, hold up. Where are you going? You know you liked your time with us. You want more. So look down, hit that button right there, subscribe, and you'll get updated episodes, and then you can hang some more.
And guess what? You can help us. How? A 5-star rating.
You can also hang with us live, weekdays 6 to 9 a.m., interact with us, talk with us, download the Moody Radio app.
Or at brianandjanelle.org.
And we don't put all this together all by ourselves. There's some great people behind all this production. We want to thank Ron Eastwood, Kelly Ryder, Paul Carter, Doug Hayner, Mike Reynolds, and our awesome and fearless leader, Josue Villa.
And finally, this podcast is a production of Moody Radio in Cleveland, a ministry of Moody Bible Institute.
Well, Brian, that's a wrap.
Yep.